The top stories tonight in Y News. The administration of President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. eyes to pursue public-private partnerships on infrastructure development to prop up the country's economy and create jobs. The Department of Foreign Affairs vows to bring home more overseas Filipino workers who were victimized by illegal recruitment. The Department of Transportation plans privatization of the EDSA bus carousel service by the third quarter of 2023. And Russia's President Vladimir Putin issues a ban on crude oil sales to countries complying with the Western's price cap. Good evening, Philippines and the world. Today is Wednesday, December 28, 2022. Join us in the next hour as we deliver today's top stories around the Philippines and in other parts of the world. We are also seen in 1,935 satellite monitoring centers nationwide and via live streaming worldwide through the UNTV News and Rescue social media channels. I am Harleen Delgado. First in the news. The administration of President Marcos Jr. will focus more on public-private partnerships next year in a bid to boost economy and generate jobs. Nel Maribohok reports.
The administration of President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. is eyeing to pursue public-private partnerships or PPPs on infrastructure development in priority sectors to prop up the country's economy and create jobs. According to the National Economic and Development Authority or NEDA, aside from focusing on PPPs, the Marcos government will also undertake the Programmatic Investment Coordination Committee appraisal and programming of major national projects next year. President Marcos Jr. already committed to finish building approved railway projects such as the North-South Commuter Railway System, the 33-kilometer Metro Manila Subway Project, the 147-kilometer North-South Commuter Railway System, the 12-kilometer LRT-1 Cavite Extension, the 23-kilometer MRT-7, and the common station that will connect LRT-1, MRT-3, and MRT-7. Meanwhile, Department of Tourism said it targets 2.6 million international tourist arrivals in a low scenario and 6.4 million in high scenario. In its year-end report, the Marcos administration has generated 149 billion pesos in tourism revenues in November this year, with the Philippines recognized as the world's leading beach and dive destination. The DOT said some 2.4 million foreign tourists flocked to the country. Nel Maribohok, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
The price of onions in Metro Manila markets is now ranging from 500 to 720 pesos based on the price monitoring of the Department of Agriculture or DA. The Agriculture Department held a meeting on Wednesday, December 28, with the stakeholders to know the real status of supply of the commodity. The DA will also determine the volume of harvest in the coming months that will serve as a guide if the government will allow importation. Freshly harvested onions will be bought by DA and sell it to Kadiwa stores in Metro Manila at a lower price.
Ang inaabangan po natin ay yung bagong harvest. Kaya tayo po ngayon ay dumediretso sa ating mga onion farmers para malaman anong tinanim, gaano karaming aanihin, and yung expected na ani, kailan po yan. Yan po ang dadalhin mismo ng Kadiwa sa ating mga consumers.
The government reports that thousands of overseas Filipinos were repatriated this year. The Department of Foreign Affairs eyes to rescue more Filipinos from neighboring countries who were victims of human trafficking. This report will tell us why. The Department of Foreign Affairs, or DFA, vows to bring home more overseas Filipinos who are in need of assistance. DFA Migrant Workers Affairs Undersecretary Eduardo De Vega says more or less 100 overseas Filipino workers, or OFWs, who are victims of illegal recruitment are awaiting repatriation. Most of the victims are from neighboring Southeast Asian countries such as Myanmar, Cambodia, and Laos. De Vega admits repatriating the victims has been a challenge due to several factors, including the current situation in the said countries.
Mga pinangakuan ng trabaho bilang kunyari data encoder, yung pala pagdating doon, hindi data encoder, ginagawang pogo, illegal scammers, yun, tapos minsan sinasaktan kung hindi sila nakakuha ng kliyentes.
The DFA official calls on Filipinos to undergo proper recruitment process.
Nananawagan po kami sa ating mga kababayan na gumamit ng tamang recruitment process, no? Dumaan sa POEA para lalo po mabigyan ng protection, mas mapabilis yung inyong pag-uwi kung kailangan.
In the past 11 months, the government said it repatriated over 7,000 overseas Filipinos, mostly coming from Saudi Arabia and Kuwait. De Vega notes that not all the repatriated overseas Filipinos were brought home due to emergencies. He says the Philippine embassies also assisted in securing the exit permits of OFWs who escaped from their employers. Next year, the agency plans to intensify its mapping efforts to provide an accurate number of Filipinos abroad. Harleen Delgado, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God. Bureau of Customs or BOC Commissioner Yogi Filimon Ruiz disclosed that they have relentless campaign against corruption. This is not just against airing importers, but also their personnel. In fact, the Bureau has dismissed 3 personnel and suspended 9 others over the issue of corruption.
We have filed 77 show cause orders. We have filed 9 administrative cases. 3 personnel po natin na dinismiss po natin. We have suspended 9. We have relieved 35 personnel. And we have reshuffled 410 officers from the different ports.
Meanwhile, the BOC aims to achieve the 921 billion peso target collection next year. This is 200 billion pesos higher than the target collection this year, amounting to 721 billion pesos. Pressure area or LPA is still affecting most parts of the country. As of 3 p.m. today, the Philippine Atmospheric, Geophysical and Astronomical Services Administration or PAG-ASA located the weather system at 210 east of Surigao City, Surigao del Norte. Scattered rain showers and thunderstorms will be experienced over Palawan, Bicol region, Visayas, Zamboanga Peninsula, northern Mindanao and Caraga. Meanwhile, rains are also expected in Metro Manila and the rest of Luzon due to the effect of northeast monsoon. Thunderstorms may also experience over the rest of Mindanao. Meanwhile, temperature in Quezon City dropped at 20.5 degrees Celsius early morning today. Other areas that recorded colder temperatures below 20 degrees Celsius are Baguio City, Basco Batanes, Tanay Rizal, Casiguran Aurora, Malaybalay Bukidnon, Lawag City, Tuguegarao City, and Abukay Bataan. PAG-ASA said that expect lower temperatures in the coming days until February.
On 4-hour news abroad, the United Kingdom is seeing an increase in university dropouts and inevitable homelessness among students. Annie Mancilia details why live. Yes, Annie, good evening.
Good evening, Marielle. As a result of the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic, universities in the United Kingdom or UK were forced to refund rents and pay for vacant rooms, causing a fast shift away from face-to-face teaching and a drop in foreign student numbers. Another reason, as explained by Martin Blakey, Chief Executive of the student housing charity Unipol, is that the growth of private student hall is dramatically slowing. At the same time, when landlords are moving back to renting to professionals or leaving the market. According to reports, at least one university has advised students to drop out if they are unable to find housing. National Union of Students or NUS Vice President for Higher Education Chloe Field has warned of an inevitable surge in dropouts and student homelessness unless immediate action is made. There is a shortfall of 207,000 student rooms and shortages of more than 10% in 19 towns and cities with international students returning in January 2023. Meanwhile, strong competition for lodging has led to an average rise in price by 10% over the past year. Marielle?
Thank you, Annie Mancilia, for the live report. Russia's President Vladimir Putin has issued a ban on crude oil sales in response to the Western's price cap on Russian oil. Members of the G7 European Union, as well as Australia, have agreed to cap oil imports to $60 per barrel, which took effect earlier this month. As a result, Russia will ban sales to countries and companies that will comply with the price cap for 5 months, starting from February 1 next year. Putin added that the ban may be lifted for some cases if he wishes to make a special decision. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky said that the initial price cap was not serious enough and said that the new price cap will aim to further damage Russia's economy. Since their invasion of Ukraine, Russia's oil exports to the West have decreased after the initial price cap placed on September. However, Putin assured that there will be demand elsewhere, which later on came from India and China. We'll share more global stories with you later, but for now, back to you, Harleen.
Thank you, Marielle. The Department of Social Welfare and Development, or DSWD, assures that it has available 500,000 family food packs on standby for distribution to residents affected by the calamities. Janice and Henta will tell us why.
To augment the needs of local government units, or LGUs, now that the number of residents affected by the massive flooding in some parts of Visayas and Mindanao are increasing, the Department of Social Welfare and Development, or DSWD, assures that it has enough family food packs on standby for distribution in calamity-affected areas. According to DSWD's National Resource and Logistics Management, or NRLM, there are 500,000 family food packs prepositioned in 12 regions of the country.
Ito po ay sasapat for 3 to 5 days na consumption ng mga kababayan po natin. Pero tuloy-tuloy naman po ang production ng family food packs po dito. Hindi po tayo titigil hanggat may nangangailangan. Maggagawa tayo, puproduce tayo at ihatid po natin yan.
As of December 26, DSWD field offices already released a total of 3.2 million pesos worth of family food packs in Eastern Visayas, Zamboanga Peninsula, and Caraga region. DSWD also reported a total of 34,751 families which have been affected by the massive floodings in some areas in Visayas and Mindanao due to shear line, while more than 12,000 families are temporarily sheltered in 142 evacuation centers. According to DSWD, assistance or augmentation of family food packs was immediately sent to local governments for residents in need.
Malaking tulong ang ating mga preposition goods. Yun po ang naunang ibinaba po natin sa mga naapektuhan ng mga baha sa Mindanao. Ang Central Office ay kasalukuyang gumagamit ng lahat ng assets ng government. Mapa air, mapa land at mapa sea. So tulong-tulong pong lahat. Mamaya maglo-load po tayo ng mga family food packs sa sasakyan po ng Philippine Navy.
Meanwhile, volunteers are now in double time to repack relief goods at the DSWD warehouse. The Members Church of God International, or MCGI, immediately responded since Monday, December 26.
Nandito po ang MCGI upang matugunan yung mga pangangailangan ng ating mga kababayan, lalo na po sa mga binaha po sa ating mga kababayan sa Visayas at Mindanao. At sa tulong at awa po ng Diyos, nandito po kami nagre-repack po ng mga ipamimigay na food pack po upang makatulong po sa ating mga kababayan. Nag-start po kami dito noong December 26 pa po at patuloy po ang pag-repack po namin hanggang ngayon at sa mga susunod pa pong araw.
Yung MCGI po ay nag-daily po sila ng 100 daily. So sa puwersa nila po, malaking ambag po yan sa pag-hit ng target po namin sa family food pack, ranging from 8,000 to 10,000 family food packs per day po yan.
Janice and Hente, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
The Metropolitan Manila Development Authority, or MMDA, assured on Wednesday, December 28, their preparation for the anticipated heavy traffic in the National Capital Region after the holiday season, as travelers are expected to return to Metro Manila starting January 3. MMDA Deputy Chairperson Frisco San Juan Jr. mentioned the agency has already coordinated with the Department of Public Works and Highways, Department of Transportation, local government units, and bus companies to lessen the expected traffic jam in major thoroughfares in the metropolis. San Juan said that they are ready for the increase in vehicle volume on Tuesday because Monday, January 2, is a holiday and work for government offices, some private businesses, and schools are suspended. MMDA has recorded that Metro Manila's traffic has breached pre-pandemic levels of daily traffic volume, reaching 420,000 to 430,000 vehicles per day. The deputy chairperson emphasized that the travel speed along EDSA is now higher compared to the pre-pandemic speed of 11 km per hour. The Department of Transportation eyes privatization of the EDSA bus carousel service by the third quarter of 2023. JP Nunez will tell us why.
To make the EDSA busway more convenient to the commuters, the Department of Transportation or DOTR is already preparing terms of reference for the potential investor of the transport system from private sector. Transportation Secretary Jaime Bautista said they aim to privatize the EDSA busway by the third quarter of 2023. According to Secretary Bautista, they are coordinating with the Asian Development Bank and the Public-Private Partnership Center to outline the terms of reference.
Or we're preparing what you call terms of reference. No? Gusto natin, kung ipaprivatize natin to, talagang yung gagawin ng private sector will conform to international standards. Mga interested group no, na nagbigay ng indication, no? Although wala pa silang mga proposal.
Once potential private entity bid to operate the busway, there will be a concession agreement, which means that after the contract, the EDSA carousel will still be part of the government property. Meanwhile, DOTR also announced that starting January 1, 2023, EDSA carousel will no longer offer free ride. Commuters need to pay a minimum fare of 15 pesos for regular passengers and 12 pesos for students, senior citizens, and persons with disability. The trip from Monumento up to Parañaque Integrated Terminal Exchange will cost 76 pesos for regular passengers and a 20% discount to students, seniors, and PWDs.
Merong 1.2 billion no, for contract service contracting, no? Pero napakaliit nun para ibigay natin dito sa EDSA busway, no? Kasi sa EDSA busway, we spend around 10 to 12 million a day, no? So yung 1.2 billion, ilang buwan lang yon.
Data from the Land Transportation Franchising and Regulatory Board shows that the free ride from Carousel served more than 80 million commuters since it started up to December 27 this year. Meanwhile, the Tramo station in Pasay City has been inaugurated today. The EDSA Carousel already have 17 median stations, 4 temporary curbside stations, and 1 integrated terminal exchange. JP Nunez, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
Different health concerns are in trend due to sudden climate change, and one of the common diseases when the weather is cold is the flu. Based on monitoring by the Department of Health or DOH, the flu is increasing now due to temperature change. Flu is a type of infection in the respiratory system caused by inhalation of influenza virus or droplets from sneeze or cough of an infected person. Some of its common symptoms are fever, body pain, as well as cough, cold, headache, vomiting, and changes in taste. According to doctors, the flu can be easily transmitted, especially in crowded places. Advice from the health department: if you experience symptoms of common diseases, look for a doctor immediately to determine if the signs you feel is COVID-19 or the flu. It is also better to self-isolate to avoid transmission of a disease.
Nagpapaalala tayo sa ating mga kababayan, ang mga sintomas po ng trangkaso o yung tinatawag nating flu is almost the same as COVID-19. So hindi po pwede tayong magkaroon ng parang complacency na sasabihin, ay trangkaso ito. Para lang tayo sigurado at para hindi kumalat ang infeksyon, tayo po ay mag-isolate once we feel this kind of symptoms.
Due to the increasing threat being faced by Taiwan from a possible Chinese invasion, Taiwan President Tsai Ing-wen announced Tuesday, December 27, that the country will extend their mandatory military service from 4 months to 1 year. The changes will take effect on January 2024, the same month of the island's next presidential election. The self-ruled island is being claimed by China as one of its territory. Thus, the Taiwanese president announced these changes to bolster Taiwan's defense in the event of an attack from Beijing. The president also stated that the training will be further improving, even borrowing some methods from the U.S. military and other advanced nations. Since the 90s, the Taiwanese army has gone down in size, with the mandatory military training of the island going down from the original 3 years, then adjusted down to 1 year and 10 months, and even decreased further to the current 4 months. President Tsai also said that although the decision was a very difficult one to make, it is their duty to defend the country's way of life. And those are the reasons behind the news in other parts of the globe. I am Mariela Toza reporting live from Perth, Australia. Good evening.
The Bureau of Fire Protection, or BFP, reported on Wednesday, December 28, that the country recorded low fire incidents from January 1 to December 26 this year. BFP spokesperson Superintendent Annalie Carbajal Atienza mentioned that the fires across the country went down by 4.02%, or 13,029 fire incidents were posted from January 1 to December 26. This is lower than the 13,574 cases that was recorded during the same period in 2021. According to Atienza, despite the downtrend in the number of fire cases, there was an increase in the number of firecracker-related fires. Based on BFP data, it showed that there were 19 fire incidents caused by firecrackers or fireworks recorded in 2022. This is higher than the 7 cases reported during the same period in 2021. Atienza called on the public not to use firecrackers and fireworks and recommend to just celebrate the end of the year 2022 by watching the fireworks displays organized by the local government units instead. She also urged the public to just use other alternatives or improvised noise makers instead of exposing themselves to the risk that can possibly be brought by firecrackers. The BFP spokesperson reminded the importance of having fire extinguishers and fire exits in every household, as well as emergency drill at home to know what to do in case of possible fires. The Fire Bureau has assured enough BFP personnel and fire trucks deployed in strategic places throughout the country, especially in Metro Manila, in time for the year-end celebration. The Supreme Court, or SC, announced on Wednesday, December 28, that works or activities in all levels of court across the country will be suspended tomorrow at 12 noon. But the court clarified that works involve process of bail, order of release, serving of protections are not included upon the discretion of the judge or justice. Meanwhile, activities in all courts will also be suspended on January 2, 2023, and these will resume or back to normal on January 3, 2023. The city government of Manila announced on Wednesday, December 28, through a public advisory, the closure of a portion of Rojas Boulevard northbound from Katigbak Parkway to South Road in Manila to accommodate the celebration in Rizal Park of the 126th death anniversary of national hero Jose Rizal. The said road portion will be closed to public on December 30 from 4 a.m. onwards. Meanwhile, in a tweet, the Metropolitan Manila Development Authority, or MMDA, has announced that the implementation of the expanded number coding scheme on December 30, 2022 and January 2 of next year will be suspended. The Metropolitan Manila Development Authority, or MMDA, announced on Wednesday, December 28, that the agency would install more pumping stations in the National Capital Region to further make it flood resilient. MMDA Deputy Chairperson Frisco San Juan Jr. has assured that the agency will prioritize on its flood control and management projects in 2023 to achieve its goal of mitigating the flooding problem in the Metro Manila. He added the plan to reduce flood vulnerability in the metropolis has been raised because this is where a significant number of Filipinos reside, and considering this is the country's financial and government capital. San Juan Jr. said the agency is continuously upgrading the flood mitigating stations, currently studying the construction of a new pumping facility in Tatalon and Araneta in Quezon City. As the world faces these trying times amid the pandemic caused by coronavirus, we are inviting everyone to join the global prayer for humanity.
Good day. I'm Brother Eli Soriano of the members of the Church of God International. I want to invite you to join us in a minute of prayer every day to pray for humanity and the whole world as we go through these perilous times. While safety measures like washing of hands and strengthening of our immune systems may help us through this horrible predicament, there is still no precaution or cure more powerful than God's mighty intervention. And we need His intervention now more than ever. It doesn't matter what religion you are in or what denomination you belong. This is an invitation for all the people around the world who cares for the future of their family, friends, loved ones, and humanity as a whole. Everybody is welcome to pray with us. For more details, you can check out the description box below. Thank you very much, and I hope to hear from you soon. May God bless you.
Before we close, we will leave you with a word, giving glory to God. From the book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 10, verse 31. It says, "Whether therefore ye eat, or drink, or whatsoever ye do, do all to the glory of God." Those are the reasons behind the news December 28, 2022. Reasons we deliver to you as they unfold. Because we need to know. We will always ask why. I am Harleen Delgado. We serve the people. We give glory to God.